So I'm here at the beach, and earlier I was kind of thinking about a couple of things, and it was kind of one of those scenarios where it's like you change your settings and you start to have like all these different emotions and all these different views on life, and you're like, you really forget that this is what life is all about. It's just like taking some time to just enjoy yourself and enjoy everything else around you, because we get so caught up in our workspaces, or we get so caught up in just our everyday lives and having to work and doing all these things that you never really take the time to truly appreciate what's going on around you. And that is an issue. That's kind of a big issue, because then months starts to pass, and then years start to pass, and then like decades starts to pass, and you don't realize what's going on around you. And then once you do like finally have that moment of like truly soaking everything in, you start to think about all those times that you didn't appreciate those things that you did, or you start to feel some kind of way because you're like, man, I really wasted all this time doing absolutely nothing, or I wasted all this time and wasn't paying attention to what was going on. And like that makes me feel some kind of way, knowing that I wasted years, that I wasted time. And another thing that I wanted to talk about was, don't focus on getting older, because a bad habit that a lot of people have, including myself, is you start to think about the future way too far ahead. What I mean by that is like, it would be like, okay, well, in 5 years, I'm gonna drive this type of car, I'm gonna have this type of family, or I'm gonna have this amount of money. And you start to get so caught up in thinking so far ahead that you're only really taking in the results, and you're not really thinking about all the pain and all the sacrifices that have to be made in order for you to do that thing. And so by the end of the day, you're kind of just daydreaming, which is something you don't want to do, because if you don't take action, it won't happen. And that's kind of like a big bummer. Point is, like, don't focus too far in the future, just focus on today, because what ends up happening is you end up living tomorrow today, and then tomorrow you end up thinking about yesterday and thinking about all the things that you wish you could have done, or you start thinking about, oh man, I should have taken action back then when I was able to, and I had like the time to take action and do things of that nature. And nothing sucks more than just like wasting time and then just realizing later on in life that you've wasted all this time doing absolutely nothing. And it sucks, it truly sucks. And so that's the point, like in the video, is just like to talk about it, to maybe help one person out to realize that early and help them understand that every day is a blessing. They need to truly soak in every day and appreciate every day, and not just live life idly, because there's nothing worse than when you're on autopilot for like weeks to months to years on end, and you don't realize you're on autopilot until you end up taking a day, getting out of your space, getting out of like where you normally stay at, and trying something new or changing the setting. And then you realize, like, man, what have I really done with my life? Like, what have I accomplished? What have I been doing all these years, all these months? Like, what has been going on? And that's the worst. That truly is the worst, because you can't get that time back. And so you need to just take every day to try and get results. You need to take every day to try and do something new and try to pursue something that actually makes you happy and that can actually help sustain you in the future. And again, there's nothing worse than lost time. And you thinking about like tomorrow, today, and then tomorrow you're gonna think about all the stuff you wish you did back then. And it's just a whole loop where it's like you're constantly thinking about some point in time, whether it's in the future or whether it's in the past, and you're never truly in the present. That's where things get kind of messed up, and it's always kind of weird, because if you're always thinking about some point in time and you're never truly present, then you're never really able to fully grasp what life has to offer, and it sucks. There's no other way to put it. It just sucks, because you're not really paying attention to what's going on. I just want to share one of my experiences, which was when I worked my first job. And honestly, I enjoyed my first job. Like, the people were there were cool, the work wasn't that difficult, and everybody was amazing there. So I loved it, honestly. Like, I found it enjoyable. In terms of like working, it was fine. Like, the work was pretty easy, people were cool, so there was nothing bad to say about that. But the issue that I did have was just working for minimum wage, which I know it's like, oh my God, like, you're getting paid, what are you complaining about? I'm not complaining, it's just that like I knew there was more for me in life, and I knew I didn't want to be there long term. And again, to each your own. Some people could thrive in that type of environment. Some people could keep doing that for the rest of their life and be happy. I couldn't do that. I don't know what it was. I just didn't find it, that aspect of it, I just didn't find it enjoyable at all. And then I realized that there were some weeks where I was just going through the motion. I was on autopilot. I wasn't really fully aware of what was going on, and everything started to become a blur where weeks became days, and I would have to wait until payday. And then once payday hit, like, okay, like I'm back to normal. Like, I'll live for a couple of days, say like 4 days. I'll be cognitive of what's going on. Like, I wasn't just going through the motions. I was actually truly like living life for like a couple of days, and then the cycle continues. And the cycle was just like, I got paid, lived life normally for a couple of days, And then I was back on autopilot, just working and working and working, to wait until payday. And then payday came, and then I would be cognitive and start enjoying life again, and everything was going good. And then I have to wait until I get paid again, and I was on autopilot all over again. And so that was kind of the other thing. Depending on your situation, because not everybody's situation is the same, and not everybody's risk tolerance is the same. So with that being said, if you're able to take on more risk and you truly want to try pursuing something else that's going to take you out of that automation phase, or that's going to take you out of that autopilot phase, do it. There's no greater time to take on a risk than now. So just try something new. I'm not saying just go and quit your job and just do this 100%. You could just take some time out of your day, like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, to just try and pursue what it is that you want to do and see how that goes. Because if you still need a source of income. So like, it makes no point to just quit your job and just try to do something else. So like, just enjoy something that you do for like 2 to 3 hours. And then once you start seeing like a little bit of revenue coming out of there, then you know you're going down the right track, and you know there's money to be made there. So you can just keep doing that over and over again until eventually you're making more than you're making at your job, or you're making an equivalent to what you're making at your job, and then you can just quit and do the other thing full time, which that's kind of what I did. I did real estate while I was working, and I mean, honestly, my risk tolerance was crazy. I just flat out quit. I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I have to focus on school and real estate. And so I ended up quitting, and a couple months later, I'm gonna say like 5 months, 6 months later of true grind, true pushing it, like doing everything I can to get something sold. I finally got my first house sold, which was pretty sweet, because it showed me like what I was capable of doing. And since then, like, life has been up. I've been able to do so much different things. I'm doing what I enjoy to do. I'm learning more about what I enjoy to do, and I'm finding like who I am as a person and where I belong in life, which is honestly kind of cool. And not only that, I'm enjoying everything that I'm doing, and I have so much freedom and so much potential to do what I want, that I'm able to start this channel without having to worry about anything else. Because if I was working while I was doing real estate, while I was going to school, and while I was playing baseball, I had no time to record absolutely anything. And it took me like a month to do that first video that I ever made on this channel, which you can go and check, but I digress. The point is, don't let life take you over. You have to take over life. And I wish I'd take some time to hang out with those who you love, even if it's just like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Like, just genuinely enjoy their company, because I mean, life goes its own ways. Everybody starts to grow up. They start going their own directions, and you start to lose some time with them, because we all get so caught up and busy in our own different worlds that we forget what life is about. And it's about like family and friends, and just truly enjoying life, because we're not immortal. Eventually we're all gonna die, which is a whole different topic, but just enjoy those around you, enjoy the company.